good afternoon. I'm so glad that I'm back in COVID conversations over coffee after what 4 weeks, Shin, and of course,
Yeah, yeah, you technically joined us, so welcome back.
yeah. So it's been quite a while, but I'm so happy to be here this afternoon. My name is Shaila, and I am joining you guys from this little town in Mindanao called Butuan City, and of course, I am here with my sister.
Hi everyone, my name is Sheena, and I'm joining you all the way from the Middle East in Dubai.
Ayan, with
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got an interesting topic for this afternoon, Shin, right? So we're going to be talking about the power of water.
Yes, because like the power of water, like last 2 weeks ago in the Philippines, we had the typhoon, and it caused so much devastation. Water in itself is power. The amount of devastation it can cause is immense, is tremendous. I feel like I'm Donald Trump when I just said tremendous. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. Sorry.
But yeah,
And at the same time as well, the lack of water also, I feel that it affects society. So, and actually, I feel like it's actually until I've been following Jo is a friend of mine, and only when I've seen her posts, I'm like, I didn't realize the lack of water is still a problem in many regions in the Philippines. So it's interesting to have her this afternoon to discuss this kind of topic. So yun. So I'm
yeah,
interested.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, because even for us here in Butuan, that used to be a problem, not anymore. But just a few years ago, like say 4 years ago, the irony here was when it would rain, that's when we would have no water.
Ah,
So
okay.
imagine, yeah, the rain is pouring, but there's nothing in the tap because it's too like because of floods and everything. So the system
Ah,
can't filter that much water coming in. So that's sort of like the irony of it all. But yeah, so we're excited to have your friend on board just in a little bit. In the meantime, for those of you who are watching us for the first time, we're so happy that you could join us. And if you could please subscribe to us, whether you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, that way Facebook and YouTube could sort of, tell you, hi, they're here again. And they want to talk to you and they want to have you on board to come on and join us. So look for us on YouTube. If you haven't joined us from there, it's Hakbang Media, and of course on Facebook it is Hakbang Pilipinas. So we have a lot of things going on apart from these shows that we do. I want to share real quick. I know Sheena, some of our co-hosts are doing live segments as well. Next couple of days, I know Owen has. For tomorrow, I think. I'm trying to get to it. So.
But okay, while you're trying to get to that, I would like to thank once again everyone that's contributed to last week's donation drive that we did. We're extremely grateful for your help. Every little bit of it counts, and we're thankful that we've made the amount that we made, and it's all because of you guys. And yon. And to let you know, the money has arrived to Gigarao, right? And
Isabela.
and Isabella,
and Cagayan, in Cagayan Valley,
yes.
right? So we're so happy, guys, because last week we were supposed to do COVID conversations, and because the week before that, the typhoons happened up in the north, and it was just heavy for us, and we felt like we needed to do something. And because of you guys and FSUU Foundation, we were able to send Shin. We did the live show on Thursday. Come Saturday or Friday morning, we were able to send 100,000 each to those cities, and we could not have done that without all of you.
100,000 each. Wow, I didn't even think we amounted to 200,000. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. We ended the show in 130,000, and we made 70 more. That's awesome. Wow.
We couldn't have done that without FSUU Foundation, and we couldn't have done that with all of the volunteers, all of the performers who just gave their time to us as well, and of course our co-speakers. So that was such a fun time for us. Which brings us to this topic today, Shin, because we were supposed to have her last week, but we felt like this topic needs to be discussed more. So let's go ahead and bring her in, so that she can first introduce herself and then share what she's been up to lately. So here she is. Hi, Jo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Hakbang Media, for having me over. I'm Jo Bacallo, and I'm a water storyteller, and I work in the communities in indigenous towns. So thank you for having me here, guys.
Welcome, guys. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this woman over here was Ilustrado's top 100 women in the Middle East. Hello. I think we have one of the pictures. We'll show that later. But yes, amazing. In 2018. So, wow, Joe. And now it's 2020. Yeah, 2020. Oh my gosh, why do you feel a little dumb today?
Joe, you said earlier that you're a water storyteller. How did that begin for you?
Well, I think Sheena would agree with me in terms of our work in the airlines before. I used to work as an air hostess before and travel as my platform to go back and forth different countries and see the polarizing realities. I find it that I use that the lens of water as as my lens to see things. And I thought that if I go to a developing country and I go to a very developed country, they have the same problem, which is the problem of water scarcity, water quality, lack of water, and the abundance of water. And it has different effects. So I would I would definitely bring traveling as my eye opener, as I would say, in my life's work that I'm doing right now. So
Okay, so you would go to a country as flight crew, right? As a cabin crew for Emirates. You would go to a country, but how does that happen? How do you get to a situation or an area where you would see like there's not enough water? Like
Mhm.
because you'd have to go out of your way to see that, I would think, right, Joe?
yeah, it goes on my backpacking trips to South America, to Africa, and that's why I encourage people to get out of their hometowns and travel and see other parts of the world or maybe their community. Because this is the only time that you can immerse yourself when you're there and when you witness. So it wouldn't do justice when you look at photos or videos. I think there is power when you experience, and I think that's what travel did to me. And I think we have our different relationships when it comes to our experiences. And for me, it was the issue of water and lack of water to start with.
It's amazing. I don't even understand how, honestly, even you're telling me this, like, how do you pinpoint that water is the source of, I don't know,
Mhm.
of a city or a community's problem? Um, how did I'm still I'm still wondering how that happened. But first of all, it's amazing that you even had the time to be able to do this. I congratulate you for being able to actually use the time that we did as flying, not only to travel the world to see it in the beautiful lenses that we always see them in, but also to see the other side of it and still use it. I mean, I thought I'm just gonna say this, hanga lang ako kay Joe, because you really you you're beautiful. Aside from that, you're also a very deep person to get. You're so smart and everything, and that you were able to combine your traveling and still learn about the world. So I saw first, before I first saw you went to Stockholm. Was it Stockholm when you had this water convention
Water conference, yeah.
conference? Look, so there are other people in the world who also see this as a problem. Like, I'm surprised as well, again, with that. But to be able to correlate that. So tell us how that happened.
Sure. But first of all, I wanted to emphasize why this kind of platform is so relevant for these conversations. And I think it's not only a COVID conversation, but also a conversation that we need to normalize as as being citizens of not only our country, but talking about environment for that matter. So
Mm.
in Stockholm, there is an annual event called the World Water Week, and it happens every summer around September or August. And I thought like this is going to be the most effective way for a non-water professional like me and like you. And I thought that when you said that how did you manage? How did you know that there's lack of water, or is this a problem for other countries? This is the start of awareness. You don't have to know everything to start something. This is most important to highlight because I didn't study water. In fact, I studied aviation management and in business. But this is where we can see that even if you're in different industries, you're able to affect change when it comes to our environment. We are all interconnected. And it's very cliche to say, but we can only start that conversation with awareness. And because I'm not aware of the specificities of water and technicalities, I need to learn. So I attended a water conference every year, and then I became a part of their young water professional program. And there I saw young women and young girls, and they're coming from different fields of marketing. They are scientists and they're designers. They're into fashion, but tackling on a very important issue. In fact, maybe the most important issue for our survival. It's water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my learning in Sweden. So
Wow. So, okay, go Shine.
So Joe, you would go into these water conferences and you talk about, what's lacking, what needs to be done. From what you've learned, what is it that you've learned to do? So from just hearing it, to actually practicing, what is it that you've been able to do?
one of my biggest takeaways from the World Water Week, there's a World Water Week in Sweden. It's called the World Water Week in Stockholm, and there's also World Water Week in South America, which I also attend because different problems of water they
Mm-hmm.
they need different solutions, and it's usually local. And my takeaway was. Using the United Nations Developmental Goal number 6, because there's 17 developmental goals, and it tackles into poverty, education, and human rights and partnership, energy, etc. But goal number 6 talks about the the Sustainable Developmental Goal of ensuring clean water and sanitation for all. But I don't understand what it means because I wanted to do something. I wanted to help. I knew that I have the awareness, but what does it mean to interpret ensuring clean water and sanitation for all? And there's so many other targets that they do, and maybe around 7 or 8, including water and ecosystem, sanitation in school, sanitation in workplace. It's so overwhelming. So where do you start? Like if I'm speaking to a young woman, maybe 10 years my junior, who wanted to take part in the conversation of water or trying to make a difference in your community, how do you start? So they say that you have to look at the most vulnerable. Who are the most vulnerable in our country? Sino ba yung mga tao na they needed more attention? And label I hate to put the label vulnerable to our indigenous people, but in fact they are, because really they are not vulnerable if you if you learn their ways of living, if you learn their social interaction with each other, their crafts, their culture, their clothes, you wouldn't name them, or the adjective is not vulnerable, but in fact in other terms like access to clean water, access to school, to healthcare, being they are the least person that we think about. Our local communities and our national government, for that matter, they need to address their needs, because I wanted to connect that into the power of water, because they are the steward of the forest and the rivers. We have to learn from them and not seclude them from our conversations in protection and resilience and of course sustainability. So that's kind of like my biggest takeaway in my water learning. Shaina.
Okay. When you've reached out to these indigenous tribes, right? Have you had any resistance with the way you're teaching, or did they welcome you? Was there also a problem with the government, like assisting you or blocking your whatever
Mhm.
your efforts?
That's a great question, because you should not leave out the challenges when you talk about working with and working for the indigenous peoples. Our project is powered and sponsored by Art Dubai in the UAE. And we went there to go with education and water and sanitation and hygiene. And if you imagine a table, there should be a local government unit present. There should be the tribal leader. There should be the head of the NGO. There should be the head of engineering, or the person who's going to build an infrastructure. And there should be a seat for the sponsor, and there should be a seat for maybe the teachers who are safeguarding the whole indigenous school. So the resistance would come from change, because they have their own ways of living, but maybe it doesn't necessarily mean that it adapts to their current situation and their current lifestyle. Because specifically in the tribe that we're working with, they are displaced from they're actually from Sultan Kudarat, and they moved to Kanibong, which is situated between North Cotabato. In there are Balaan tribes, so but they come from Sitio Columbio in Sultan Kudarat. But because of the unrest, they keep on going back and forth, and now they settled into this land without clean water before. So the resistance come from, this is not my place, and I don't know, why is there a person trying to tell me to wash my hands, or we should maybe not open defecate, because it's still happening in our country, although very, very limited as compared to other developing countries. There are still people who poop outside, and this is dignity. This is also the clean. It goes to the clean water that it also goes to the water that they drink. So a lot of health issues surrounding that. So you just introduce the science, and then you align it to whatever they believe and their social aspects, and you leave them. You have to leave them to make their own way on how it will adapt to their everyday living. So those are the challenges that I faced in terms of working with communities that are like
Yes, because they're very close, tight knit group, right? And they're not really open to the outside world, which is understandable. But yeah. So aside from, so obviously you've mentioned, I guess they don't have the facilities like the toilets and washing of hands. But is there an abundant source of water for them, or is that also a problem aside from the matter of cleaning their hands and sanitation?
that. One of my first indigenous communities are the Igorots up north, the Mount Pulag. And it's so different because they're abundant with water. It's just that they need to put a rainwater collection, and they can use that water to wash their hands or tend to their domestic chores. Most especially beside a school, it's important that there should be a hand washing facility beside, or each school should have a hand washing facility for children. But when in my personal experiences working with this particular Blaan tribe and the school, the indigenous school, since they're quite displaced, we felt that we actually had to put a sociologist and a psychologist to assess the mental well-being of the children and even the parents on what are their struggles. You have to hear from them on what they need, because you might give toilets, you might give hand washing facilities, and this is what happens mostly with charity works, that they know that they wanted to give, they wanted to take part, but you don't know what they need. So you need to ask them all the time. Like, you cannot just give them toilets, but they haven't seen a toilet before. So this is one of the enlightened moments that I had, that you really have to put the people in the heart when you're talking about doing community work. Who are the people who's going to use the system or change? So it's important to ask them what they need and what they want. And at that time they say, well, our children are young girls and boys. They don't go to school because they have to walk 3 kilometers for the water. What do we do with this? So should we get a pump? Should we get filters? So it takes a while. It takes years. My work with Art Dubai span for at least 4 to 5 years of going back and forth every leave and vacation time off work. So we spent some time with the children and the indigenous tribes, and this is what we came up with, and a sustainable water resource near a water source. So yeah, to answer your question, we just don't give. The intention is right, but you have to put people in the heart of the matter, and yes, this is the most important message in my community work. You have to ask them first. Yeah.
No, I'm so amazed how you would spend your leaves going to these places, going to these rural places, and educating them how to use water and everything. Because mostly as crew, right? When it's your leave, you want to go to these other
Exotic places.
exotic places, but you actually spent time here in the Philippines, here down south, not close to me. I think Cotabato is around 15 hours away from us. But to actually come down south and teach these kids as well. Since the pandemic, Joe, and it's been how many months already? How does it help that you're there and the people that you want to help are here? How has being there where you are now been beneficial as well?
Well, a lot of people would say that you have to be there, or your impact would be magnified when you're there, which is true. But you have to take that as a challenge to also take part not only in the conversation but action. I think there's no excuse right now in this particular time that COVID only emphasized and catalyzed this whole idea of working online and using technology as our connection. So there's no excuse for you not to do something, even if you're far away. And in fact, we were quite sad because we were supposed to turn over, and we're supposed to be in Cotabato this year, this May, to grace the handover of the sustainable water reservoir resource for the community. But they still went on with the program, and now at least 200 families, IPs in Sitio Balaan, are enjoying faucets near their school and their house. So again, even if we're not there physically, in spirit, we were there, and we were proud of all of those collaborations. And in fact, I want to highlight that all of those collaborators, they don't work in water. They are in arts. They are our partner NGO in Davao. They are advocates for migrant workers. But we put forward that maybe the community needs an immediate help with water, and it will solve half of the health issues of the children. And I think it's a great achievement for all of us. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also helps, Joe, that you're actually not here, because then you can be the voice of the people here
That's right.
to a broader audience. Because absolutely, it would help if you were here in the grassroots level, helping them, with the nitty gritty stuff here. But I think being our voice where you are also plays a big part. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, definitely. And I think that the phase of charity work and community work has evolved over the time, and that's why I think being there, traveling, and looking at a bigger picture, and getting all of the information that you have, documenting that, taking photos, videos, sharing their story. That's why I would like to believe that I'm more of a water storyteller. I just actually tell their story. Like I would like to think sometimes like I'm not doing enough to tell their stories, but their stories need to be told because it's colorful, it's vibrant. Um, they are vulnerable only in the sense that they needed some attention when it comes to access to healthcare, education, but they are not poor. They're in fact like I felt that working with IPs, because I reversed the whole thing. Who are the the people who most need attention when it comes to the conversation of water? It's you have to go to the persons who didn't receive it first, which are indigenous people, women, maybe disabled persons. So they are the ones who needed to receive those access first. And I think that being here or being elsewhere, it wouldn't matter, because we are all interconnected at some point in terms of technology, and like these kind of platforms tell those stories too. You amplify their stories, and that's why I'm very grateful that I am here to also tell their stories on behalf of them.
Thanks for joining us. But are there other groups in the Philippines that are also working specific to water education, I suppose? Or is it more the people that's working with you, are they more of international people from outside of the country?
I think there were many organizations that are wanted to partner or wanted to work with us, but from our experience with this indigenous tribe, it's usually they're not even in water. That's why I wanted to emphasize that anyone can take part. But
Mhm.
there are so many organizations now that I can I can think of other things that I saw online recently, where young people are being involved in the conversation of less plastic use when it comes to, for example, menstrual health. The introduction, I felt that maybe abroad, outside the Philippines, it's quite normal to have a menstrual cup every month, which is less plastic use and less waste. In the Philippines, it's just being introduced, so I think it's a big conversation, and menstrual health is part of hygiene topic and under the goal number 6 as well. So I find it that we are waking up, and I think there is a momentum, and I find it that there's a force with the youth. Youth is under 35, getting on their small little group and communities, and you can see them during the pandemic and during the typhoon period as well. So I feel that there are people who are starting to waken up in this topic. So that's great. That's great news.
Mhm. So what do you think we can do, or to help, or to bring this issue
Um,
awareness? Yeah.
when it comes to conversations of water, sanitation, or the whole ecosystem for that topic, I felt that some people, which I feel because I was like this before when I was starting my advocacy, I felt like, oh my God, I need to be there. I need to be there. Like I need to spend my time um, being with the community. I need to read a lot of books. I need to. So there's this pressure that you wanted to take part, but in fact, if you really think about it and you step back, there are some organizations already helping, and maybe you can contribute as a third person. Your fund, your in kind would have to go to a reputable organization working in the field, or
Mhm.
if you look at the facts, and I again we go back to my day one in Stockholm World Water Week. I always emphasize that by learning, by awareness of what are the facts. Let's look at the science. You can actually see that you can contribute on your own by a very very minute action. For example, I know it's very tough and it's a very very sensitive conversation about trying to eat less meat. If you understand the science behind it, maybe you can dedicate 1 hour one day of being meatless. And I wouldn't be able to call myself a water advocate if I don't do that as well. So those kind of things, and
Mm-hmm.
less plastic and encouraging other people to do the same. You have to make it cool, like, for other people to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe,
Yeah.
tell me about what's the saddest thing you've seen in relation to water, and what's just one of the joyful things as well that you've experienced or that you've seen that makes you pursue in your in this path of just more in water related issues.
Mhm. Well, I think I'll have to start with the happy thoughts first. Um, I know it's very cheesy, but when I see a child smile, when they smile because they're clean and they're in uniform, and they don't have to spend that. It's called opportunity cost, where they have to walk so far away. And usually in certain communities like that, it's the children who gets the clean water for them to take a shower and to tend to their household. I think if a child is in school and not doing that, I feel that it's a spark of hope, because this person can be someone else. And I wouldn't say illiterate, or he can
Mm-hmm.
dream. She can be someone. And if she's not
Mm-hmm.
getting water, you have to cut that period
True.
of walking. I think there's a big impact with that. And of course, like education as the most sustainable investment of all. If you
Mm-hmm.
invest in a child, I think you just have to leave it out there like a seed. And again, I feel like it's kind of like metaphorical, but once you invest in water, you invest in children and their future. And I feel like the sad part is the opposite, when they're not in school, or when they don't know that they they should be given the right of access to clean water, and and a proper toilet. I think that's the sad part, because you can still see it right now in our community, in our society. And I find it that we're getting there. And sometimes um, I'm a bit, I wouldn't say hopeless, but it's more like we should talk about it more, so that people can contribute their expertise, time, and their investments into taking a look at the forgotten people, I would say. So, and working with the IPs has been very colorful and very enriching. And you take a look at it as like the if you're from the city. That's why when you asked me earlier, why do I go to these communities and I can go somewhere else in my vacation, because when you live in the city, you tend to, especially in Dubai, where there's not much greeneries and environment. But when you go to their land, and this is where the children play in the mountains, I thought like this is a story that needs to be told. Like we have to listen to them, because they know how to protect this land and this waterway. So yeah. So the sad part is that it's still happening nowadays, but it doesn't mean to say that we cannot do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Joe, if I remember, you are from Manila, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Manila.
Yeah. So it's amazing that you actually went to these IP groups to come
Yeah,
and help. Also, on one of your birthdays, if I remember, you also went and did a charity work into one of the
in Mount
yeah.
Pulag. That's the Igorot communities in Mount
Was
Pulag.
that the
Yeah.
picture that I just showed that we
Yeah,
just showed earlier?
yeah. So those at those times, other community workers, they are they are a group of photographers called One Portrait. They are my friends, and their advocacy is more identity. So they take photos of children's class picture and the picture, the student ID. So imagine that small little thing of seeing yourself in a photo for the first time. That's the advocacy of One Portrait, and there's a lot of community works after that. And we decided to team up, and that's why I always try to tell on my interviews and whenever I tell the story that you will not you will not do this alone. And this is a work that is you are working with the community and other community of workers. Like maybe they are advocates for a different cause, but you can work together. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I think being Filipino, we're very we're very easy to work with, and we always find our common ground. And that's why I think it's a successful project when it happens, is because um, the intentionality to help, we have that in our blood, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, can you talk to us about these? So, for example, just this photo that we were showing a while ago. Can you talk to us about this?
Oh, this is a very interesting one. So these are the mothers of the children at school, but it's important to learn that some of them are actually they have never read and they have never written in their lives, so no access to education at all. But the school teachers of the Canino Indigenous Peoples Elementary School, plus our NGO partner, the Wimler Foundation in Davao, and of course, like funded by Dubai and the local government unit and the Department of Education in North Cotabato. They teamed up, and we decided to give them like kind of an alternative learning system where the students are the moms and the fathers who have never read or written before. So yeah, and this was I think around 2018 where they welcome us with the dance as always, and and this is this is what I also said about having water in the community. They start to wear their clothes more, and they started to take pride in who they are. And these are things that you don't really there's no really much of a measurement. There's no KPI, but if you see them now, the children are clean. They're wearing their local clothes, and maybe they're gonna start weaving and beading again. So these are some effects of what happened when you put water in a community, clean water in the community, and yeah, it's very
That's
memorable. So these ladies are part of the ALS, or alternative learning system. So the moms and the dads who were no read, no write, they're learning their ABCs. So no one gets left behind.
That's great.
Wow.
And I think what could happen as well is, I like what you said, that it can actually, by bringing water into the community, it could actually help them even keep their traditions. Like, yeah, if they can wash their clothes and they can wear their traditional wear as well and wear it proudly, and let their children see, like, this is us, this is who we
Mhm.
are. And so
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that, Joe, that there could be a strong connection.
Correlate.
Yeah, because even for me here in Mindanao, so Sheena and myself, we grew up in Manila like you,
Mhm.
and moving here in Butuan, I was just so amazed by how beautiful their culture is. And
Mhm.
I didn't realize that by having clean water, it actually helps them, right? I mean, keep their traditions as well. So that's beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know we have other pictures as well. Let me go ahead and try to do them. This gets a little tricky. No, 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 not that. Hold on.
Yes, we've seen that several times already today.
Okay, what about this one? Tell us about this one.
Yeah. So this is in Mount Pulag, as I've told you, and it's a combination of One Portrait and Kuya Ray, the one in red. Now he holds the storytelling project. He is one of my partners in storytelling, and this was my 30th birthday, if I'm not mistaken. I just told them I want to celebrate my birthday. up in the mountains. So I told everyone, and everyone came. So most of the school children in the back, they went from a different mountain. So everyone
Wow.
knew that it was my birthday party. We had party. I wanted all party hats. I wanted, cakes and ice cream and everything. And yeah, everyone is invited. So we started to combine it with, we call it Brigada Escuela, the back to school program. After this, we were painting the walls, trying to clean the school chairs, and I as a gift, I gave them a backpack where they have their school, just a little bit of a thing to give them, and it was so fun, and everyone had this energy of, they wanted to participate, and they knew that when the guys are coming, it's going to be fun. And whatever we do, we are always in touch with the school teachers. They are the catalyst when it comes to organization of the school children. But they are Igorot kids from the highest mountain. The highest elementary school is Mount Pulag Elementary School in up in the north, in Luzon. Yeah.
Wow, what a way to celebrate your birthday, Joe, right? Like nothing even glamorous, but look at these smiles. And that must have been so worth the climb and so worth spending it with these guys. I
Yeah.
mean, how fulfilling. I feel so proud of you. I mean, right?
I think I should. I think I encourage a lot of people to do the same. You don't have to climb the Mount Pulag. Maybe you can go and organize something in your community. And again, I'm talking about maybe next year, next 2 years. Do something that is not only going to benefit you or your personal happiness. And yeah,
Nice.
birthday.
Tell me about this. Tell us about this photo.
This is a photo in Lampagang Elementary School. It's also called Colonsal na Field, which is also in North Cotabato. And this is another indigenous school, but very, very small. And the children are under maybe 7. And I like this photo because they
Oh, it's so
have a water collection facility. This is a rainwater collection. So they just open that, and then the rain comes, and then they can use it for washing their hands.
wow.
Yeah, I had a partner where they sponsor, and they heard my story, and again emphasizing the power of collaboration. Um, I I met two young entrepreneurs, and they are based in New York, and they have a product called Soap Pen, where it's a pen, but it's a soap. So it encourages people and young children to enjoy hand washing. So it's basically a pen, but it's a soap. So you just draw your hands and make some doodles, and then you wash your hands. So if you see that there's still marks on the hand, and then your hands are not clean. So I brought them to the south of the Philippines, and the children enjoyed it so much, and of course, like Soap and gave me a lot more soaps for the children. And I think, again, power of collaboration. So
Yeah.
I think
Soap
I think
and
one of the photos is there. I think it's one of the photos that I sent you, Shai.
yeah,
Yes.
Is it
one of the one of the
is it
one
this
of
one?
the pictures. Yeah, this
Is
is
that
so yeah. Look at there, they're so cute.
They those pens are beautiful too.
Yeah. Those are soaps, actually.
Those are soaps, right? So
So
that's such a great idea.
yeah,
we need it even more now. As in the whole country needs it, not just
yeah.
the kids. Everyone. We
They
need to
have
wash our
this
hands.
yeah, they have this idea that children, they don't really like washing their hands, and in fact that this particular product was designed for city children, right? But I told them, what if I bring those products in the south? Would you allow me to introduce that to indigenous children? And then they said, yeah. So that's our collaboration. Oh, and we've never met in person.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like,
amazing.
which is
Yeah.
power of the internet. Yeah.
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 So that's what's great is by you sharing their story, you can
Yeah.
get them the help that they need, the aid that they need. So
Yeah.
to say that by being far, you won't be able to have an impact somewhere halfway
Mhm.
across the globe, right?
Mhm.
This,
Yes.
this is great stuff. Okay, what about this last photo that we're showing here, Joe? Can you tell us about this one?
Um, this is the community outreach program last year, 2019, where basically it's before their opening of the school. It's kind of like our annual visit, and this time we're kind of assuring them that how we were before and how we are right now after 4 or 5 years, and and they like to hear those people who tell their story. And this is Leo, and these are the team from Art Dubai, and the fourth lady there is Miss Leila Resistance Noel. She is the head of Wimler Foundation in Davao, and we go there with some partners, and also the teachers are there. It's kind of like a commencement exercise where children are presenting their dances, and we get to meet the parents as well. And yeah, it's nice to talk to them, and they they have their own particular language, but they understand the Mindanaoan and Visayan language as well. So I think I need to learn more. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, great work so far, Joe. So what's next for you? Because you're obviously there right now. What's
Mhm.
next?
I in the future, in the near future, my whole dream is to create almost like a think tank where um, it is a platform that would encourage young people to to study and to be involved in environmental works, and most especially the focus is in water, because I mean, of course I have an occupation before, and I had this whole understanding that if I wanted to study water, I'll study water because I'm able to travel. But what if this person or this young person would wanted to study the environment but had no any other avenue to do that, or resource or funding? I think I would like to be that person to to assist them with that in terms of resource allocation, capacity building, and of course bridging them into future works. So I guess that in the Philippines we have so many policemen, we have so many lawyers, so many engineers, which is all great. But I also think that we have to put um, STEM education and science and technology and the environment um, also into the conversation, because we're feeling the effects of the environment one way or the other. The lack of water, as we talked about, the lack of water and the excess of water. So if we don't understand the facts, we are not going to be able to advocate for it. If you don't understand why rivers are important, you will not look after the river. If you don't understand, and if you don't know that plastic straws are being eaten by the Pawikans because they think they are seagrass, you will not stop using plastic straw. So awareness is key. That's why there's power in education.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, so this is why can you see the picture I'm sharing?
No, not yet. Wait,
Not yet.
Not yet.
there.
There, you can see it. Okay, there, ayan. So all of this makes Joe like so it's so proud because of all of this. You so deserve to be the 100 most influent in the 100 most influential Filipino
Yeah,
in 20.
Thank you, Illustrado, for the feature. It's an honor.
Amazing, right? It's so nakaka-proud that in the Gulf pa also.
What
Ayan.
what was this like for you when Illustrado told you that you were going to be in the top 100?
I was very honored. That was 2018, and in fact, they also invited me for this year, but I actually declined. I feel that I wanted I wanted my story, and it's not about me, and it's never about me. It has always been my story. And it's polite. I just wouldn't want it. I don't have anything against um, these kind of
Mm-mm.
features, but I felt that I do not I do not deserve to be there. It's just about my work. It's never about me. And yeah, so but I
Doesn't
recognize.
it even that makes her even an even more amazing woman. She doesn't want to have the credit. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
just amazing. Nakaka-proud lalo.
Proud. Proud of the community and the other collaborators. Again, you will never
Yeah.
do it alone. It's never been a one woman show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned collaboration because especially during this time of COVID, when everyone's in lockdown,
Yeah.
collaboration we're big with collaboration. So in everything that we do, we also love to collaborate our works. And hopefully one day we can collaborate, or we can put together people to be able to work
Definitely.
together and actually help communities. And I'm glad that you actually stuck to one community rather than jumping from one community to another and actually see the work go through, right? Because like sometimes, for instance, I think like the idea of having a birthday celebration. I was also thinking this. Wait, when you showed your 30th birthday, it brought me back to my 30th birthday. I was like, I feel so like shallow. Kasi I just, alam mo yun?
You can just
Pero,
celebrate your birthday.
yeah, you were there my birthday
Oh
on my
yes, I
30th.
remember. Of course, like hey, it was fun.
Yes. So yeah. So I think the idea though, like though I like the idea of celebrating your birthday in communities like this, I feel like if you are, I would challenge you guys to not just only celebrate it there on your birthday, but also see them after, check on them every once in a while and continue helping them. Because then I feel like I think I've watched one video where this orphanage people always go there to celebrate their birthday. So these people who are in fact, I also like what you said, that you don't want the focus on you want the community, because like sometimes when you celebrate birthdays, for instance, in an orphanage, the idea is really nice, but the attention is to you, the birthday celebrant. So these kids are not able to like, oh, on my birthday I don't have this, like, so but it's something, it feels like they're missing out on that. So I like your idea of actually just focusing on one group. Yun. And I would like to say also, for whoever wants to celebrate their birthdays doing this outreach work, do it for the community, not for your own ego or validation, diba? And definitely not for the gram. In fact, if you can keep it away from the gram, that would be best. Actually, I don't mind sharing these things in social media. No, if it only brings like how you're doing, only if it brings more awareness and and it encourages other people to step up and do the same thing.
Sure. Yeah, because
Yun.
this is how you communicate now. We're all on our phones, and you can share important stories. But there's a responsibility with that. You have to be responsible in your sharing. Like, what is the focus? What is your message? Again, sometimes you cannot help, but other people would just be there for the validation or the personal gain. But if
Mhm.
you look at the bigger picture with the community, I think you will have more impact. Yeah.
Exactly. Ayun. Any other questions, Sai?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for you. When do you think will you be able to come home, Joe? Does that look like it's
When
there somewhere in the future?
when the travel restrictions are lifted, in fact, I felt that after I left my job, I would like to stay in the community for a prolonged time, like maybe a few months. But I was not suggested to do that by the community itself because of other security issues. And again,
Uh,
you you still have to be mindful of these other external forces, because at the end of the day, you wanted to help, you wanted to finish a project, but you don't want it to be in trouble too. So
mhm.
it's like a
True.
volunteer's
Your
dilemma.
own safety, ano?
Yeah.
Ayun. So, is there any way? Is there anything you want to share as some social media accounts or some other agencies that you want people to go towards if they want to help or anything before we end the show for today?
Well, I think I mentioned about having to go out in your community first. Like you don't have to, sometimes people think I need to work for the United Nations. I need to work at this particular environmental agency. But if you go out in your community and you extend into your local government unit and other community workers, again, it's not only your time, but your money, your effort. You can take part, and you don't have to be in a specific state of being like you need to be a counselor to make some change or to contribute to awareness. You can do it on your own right now, and the only thing that maybe is stopping you is lack of awareness. And again, there's an answer to that. You cannot advocate for something if you're not aware of it, and I couldn't stress it more, like, because I was in the same situation. That's why I always tell the young persons to to be aware, like try to research and get out of your community. So I think that's the closing remark. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jo. Yeah, I like that. I love how, yeah, that's a message to the youth. Like I appreciate how you didn't say go here to help, go to this website to help, because there are a lot. But what you're actually encouraging our viewers to do, especially youth, is, you know what? Be aware of what's out there. Know these stories. You don't even have to go far. Just in your communities, there are certainly communities that you can reach out to and help. For one here, us in Botoan, there are actually communities where one household does not necessarily have a bathroom. And I just want to shout out to my friend Joey Abrenilia, who is doing amazing things, just building bathrooms for little communities, because I didn't even realize that here, Joe. And so I appreciate what you said. So for those of you who are watching, get out there and be more aware of what's happening in and around your community. And I think that would be a great first step for you in using the power of water to your advantage. And with that, I want to say thank you to you. And we'll just do you have any last words for us, Joe?
I think
I guess I've said it all when it comes to water awareness. But yeah, thank you so much for letting me tell the story of the tribe. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Joe. We'll put you backstage for a bit, but please don't leave. Shin and I would love to say thank you again later on. For now, we appreciate it. Thanks, Joe. All right. So there you have it. There was Jo Bacallo with us. She's a water storyteller. I hope you guys appreciate that and just able to,
learn
yeah.
learn from her experiences. Yes, it's very humbling to learn all this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Nishan, we grew up in Manila, very pretty much a sheltered life, and even when I came here and I saw the lives of the indigenous people, um, my friends know it here. We've been involved in work with the IPs here. With Joey, who does work for local communities, and it was only being exposed to what's here that your heart will be led truly, only naturally, to be led to help these people. So I appreciate Joe's story with that. Shin, before we leave, I want to share with our audience, please watch out tomorrow. Owen, our co-host, you know him already. He was doing an on live selling tomorrow at 5 p.m. So do watch out for that. Check out Resto Run SMC City CDO. You can also check out Ayala Centrio and Limketay. They're on Facebook. And of course, on Saturday, they will be doing the live selling for Colombia. Guys, amazing items. It will be 60% off, 50% off. We want to share this with a wider audience. That way, a lot more people can benefit from this. You can buy it for your parents, for your family. I mean, at a much lower rate than the SRP. So go ahead and check that out tomorrow and on Saturday on those Facebook pages. Any announcements from your side, Sheena, before we say goodbye?
No, nothing. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I hope today again, you also learn something new, and you'll be able to apply it in your life. We want to grow here. We want to be better people. So yes, go out there, see what's around, especially during this time, right? Like we feel a lot of us are feeling quite helpless right now with what's going on in the situation, but not complete. We're not all completely helpless. All we need to do is to help other people that are suffering in this moment in time. Let's be the miracle, like we've learned from last week, last week's show. Let's be the miracle for other people, right? Let's not wait for miracles. Let's be the miracle.
Yeah. I also, let's be the miracle that they've been praying for. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. And with that, we want to say thank you again. My name is Shaila, joining you from Butuan City.
My name is Sheena, joining you all the way in Dubai. Bye. Good night.
Good night, guys. This has been COVID Conversations over coffee.